Who says we need to wait for the fall to drink rye? It's the middle of July, and today we're going to be going over my favorite ryes for my collection. Now let's get into this. What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Neat Bourbon. My name's Tanner, and today we're going to be going over my favorite ryes that I currently have in my collection. Now, before we get into the bottles, I just want to say thank you so much to all the viewers out there, because my last video has over 1,000 views in under a week, which is absolutely absurd to think that that many people have already seen that video. You know, I really enjoy making these, and I'm really happy to bring them to y'all each and every week. And it just means the world to me every single time someone comments, all the likes, the subscribers out there. You know, I'm really doing this to share, my passion with you, and it means so much to me. So thank you so much. And but now back to the content. So first off on the list, I want to go over. So this is the rye that actually kind of like got my toes wet in rye, because when I was first starting out on my bourbon journey, wasn't a big rye fan. I know probably a lot of people aren't, because it is kind of an acquired taste. You know, most people enjoy like the sweeter bourbon notes, and like that punchy mint, rye notes can kind of be harsh on a lot of people's palates, especially like younger ryes, like those minty notes. Spearmint can kind of be pretty sharp and kind of off-putting. But now this bottle right here is a staple for me. So now this is the Michter's Rye. I've had many of these. This is 84.8 proof. You can tell, pretty low here. Going to be getting another one of these soon. But yeah, so this bottle, you get a bunch of caramel notes. It's kind of like a barely legal rye. Not 100% sure of the mash bill. I think it's rumored to be about like 51% rye. So barely legal rye, just for that 50% level. But yeah, so this one, tons of caramel, easy sipper, low proof. That rye note is very subtle, definitely on the back end, but the front is a lot of caramel sweetness, just like you'd expect from Michter's. So if you're new to rye, highly recommend the Michter's Rye. Now, this next bottle, again, is another easier sipper. This is a Knob Creek Rye. It's a store pick. Now, store picks for these can be a little bit more difficult to come by, but again, the ryes aren't quite as popular as the bourbon picks of these. This one comes in at 115 proof. I actually got this thing when I was out in Kentucky last year. This is a Kroger store pick. Live in Virginia, big fan of Kroger. So when I saw that they had a store pick of the rye, had to pick it up. But do get a lot of the bean nut profile. So if you're a fan of Knob Creek, the Knob Creek store picks, having that kind of peanut, caramel forward, Snickers bar, chocolate action, you get a lot of those characteristics in this, with some of that rye spice. Again, it's not going to be like punching you through the tooth, with like that heavy mint, but you're going to get those baking spices, those mint, a little bit of the mint, like those greenery herbal notes that you can come to appreciate in ryes. This is a great bottle here, for someone newer into rye, but you also kind of like higher proof stuff. This would be a great option for you. And also, these things are about like $50. Great value too. Most places that do store picks will have one of these at some point as well. So this next bottle, the third one, I actually just got while I was down in Florida. This is the Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye. This thing comes out of Indiana. So we've had Kentucky, now we've got Indiana ryes. This one's also cash strength, 115.3. You get some more oak notes on the palate with this. It's not age stated, but you do get more like orchard fruit sweetness coming along with the ryes. Like rye profiles, you can get some more citrus. There's not quite as much citrus. It's more like appley sweetness, with some of that spearmint flavor mixed in. But being a sweet mash, if you've ever had the Michter's, the Michter's sour mash, this is very similar sweetness coming from this bottle as that Michter's sour mash. So highly recommend this bottle. It's like $79. They don't sell it in Virginia. but here it's pretty findable in other states. I picked this up from Florida. Easily, one of the better bottles that I've been able to find this year. So highly recommend this. If you're a fan of those higher proof ryes, you love the caramel sweetness, but you kind of want those rye notes amped up a little more, highly recommend this, the Hard Truth. And yeah, so love it. This next bottle, already done a review on this one, so everyone will know this. This is the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof Rye. This bottle, needs no introduction at this point. It was a limited release in 2020. Now Jack Daniel's is making it a standard shelfer. It's got like 70% rye in the mash bill. This one clocks in at 135.6. So going to some pretty solid depth on this in my last review, but don't want to repeat myself too much, but shares a lot of the same characteristics as the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof. So kind of that banana chocolatey, flavor profile that you get from those higher proof Jack Daniels. This bottle shares it, but then it's just kind of enhanced with a nice rye minty, spicy profile, which I personally love. Pick this one up for like $66. I know it's probably not that findable everywhere yet. When I was down in Florida the other week, I saw it a lot of places for like $1.99. Definitely don't pay $1.99 for this. It will be found everywhere, so Jack Daniel's says, for like that $65 to $70 mark. So highly recommend you pick this bottle up anytime you get the chance. So, but yes, that's bottle 4. So now, Virginia guy, I've had a few of these bottles in the past. Haven't had this one before I picked it up. So this is the Sagamore Spirits. They're 8-year. This is a limited release. This is their second release. They came out with it this year. So Sagamore Spirits is based up in Boston. They distill all their own spirits up there. This Sagamore crushes rye. I mean, they absolutely kill the game. That's basically all they do. I don't think they've released their bourbon yet or not. They do a lot of finished ryes. The Sagamore, just normal cask strength rye, unbelievable. So highly recommend picking that one up. If you can find this one, I was actually able to order this online. I got it for like $70. Not a bad price at all to pay. It's 8 years. You're getting a bunch of like caramel sweetness, get a little bit of that like orange profile that like I personally love in ryes. Being an 8-year, you do pick up some more of those wood oak notes that I think like really enhance the profile. But I mean, of my ryes, this is easily like top 4 ryes that I've ever had. So I mean, love this bottle. If you can find it, $70. It's a buy all day. Not quite as easy to find as some of the others, but do a little bit of research, you should be able to drum one of these up. Now this last bottle here is honestly, it's the bottle that kind of got me in to wanting to learn more about bourbons and ryes. It's the first bottle that I tried at a bar, and I was like, holy smokes, like rocked my socks. Like was able to pick out like so many different notes that were foreign to me. I know it kind of gets a lot of flack because of like its backstory, but the juice inside the bottle is absolutely amazing. This is the Kentucky Owl Rye. It's a batch 3. I think this bottle is from like 2020. They don't make these anymore, but for some reason in like other states you can still find them. But the reason why I love this bottle so much is you get some more of the oak notes, but the primary like dominant profile that I get is like an orange citrus note with a little bit of like lemon rind, and like all the minty baking spices are like mellowed out and like toned down, so they're there and they enhance the flavor, but they're very mellow, and it's that like orange citrus sweetness that's kind of like overtakes my palate with this one. I've had batch 1, 2, and 3. Haven't had batch 4. Like this bottle gets a little bit of grief because batch 1 came out. It was like 120 bucks, 11 years age stated, like 115 proof. Then batch 2 came out the next year. They amped the price up to $200. It was like $80 price increase. And then the proof on the bottle dropped down 10 proof points. And then batch 3 came out, still $200. They took the age down from 11 years to 10. I personally think that, this bottle is just as good as batch 2. Needed a little bit of time to open up for some of those notes to kind of, show up, and a little bit of the ethanol to die down. But I absolutely love this bottle. You can still find them on some shelves for around MSRP, which is like $1.99. But yeah, if you ever see these out and you're curious, like, hey, should I spend $200 on a bottle of rye? I mean, for me, when I finish this, it'll definitely be a present to myself because I absolutely love this bottle. So here we go. Let's line them all up for you. You got the Kentucky Owl Rye. You've got the Jack Daniel's single barrel strength rye. You've got the Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye. We got our Sagamore Spirits with the 8-year rye. You got your Knob Creek single barrel store pick rye, which comes in 115 proof. And then you've got Old Faithful, the bottle that if you're not into ryes yet, this is a great bottle to get your rye journey started. From there, definitely I would start off with the Knob Creek. This bottle right here got a lot of proof on it. It might not be for everybody, but this Hard Truth Sagamore and that Kentucky Owl is going to rock your socks. And by the way, if you made it this far in the video, would you consider giving me a like? Would you consider subscribing? Love making these videos. Love to hear from you. Do you agree with my list? What are your favorite ryes? Please let me know in the comments below. And as I always say, pop the bottles and share the pours. We'll see you in the next one.